Clean Power published on February 8, 2019, by The Beam. February 8, 2019 by The Beam. 100% renewables is not a stupid idea. In fact, it's getting more and more mainstream around the world, exclaimed Hans-Josef Fell, president of Energy Watch Group and father of the German Renewable Energy Sources Act. And how refreshing is it to hear during the United Nations Climate Conference, where we heard way too much noise coming from the fossil fuel and nuclear lobbies. Hans-Josef Fell presented a new study at COP24. Copyright, and Sophie Garagou, no pun intended here, but in this climate of scientific denial, it's time to listen to independent research again. Energy Watch Group and LUT University combine their resources to work on a new research that proves the feasibility of a European energy transition to 100% renewable sources. The study has simulated a full energy transition in Europe across the power, heat, transport, and desalination sectors by 2050 and shows that the transition to 100% renewable energy will be economically competitive with today's conventional fossil fuel and nuclear energy system. It will also lead greenhouse gas emissions to zero before 2050. So next time someone tells you that 100% renewables are not economically viable, just send him, her, them here. This report demonstrates that Europe can switch to a zero-emission energy system. Therefore, European leaders can and should do much more for climate protection than what is currently on the table. Hans-Josef Fell. So what does the study show? Here comes the technical part. First, this transition will require mass electrification across all energy sectors. It is planned that total power generation will exceed 4 to 5 times that of 2015, with electricity constituting for more than 85% of primary energy demand in 2050. In this scenario, fossil fuels and nuclear are completely phased out across all sectors. One of the most important findings of that research is that 100% renewable energy is not more expensive than our current system. The levelized cost of energy for a fully sustainable energy system in Europe remains stable, ranging from 50–60 euros per megawatt-hour through the transition. Electricity generation in the 100% renewable energy system would consist of 62% solar photovoltaic, 32% wind energy, 4% hydropower, 2% bioenergy, and less than 1% geothermal energy. The most important pillar of the climate protection strategy is not to reduce GHG, but to stop them altogether, reminded Hans-Josef Fell. In fact, according to this groundbreaking study, Europe's annual greenhouse gas emissions would decline steadily through the transition, from approximately 4,200 mt CO2 eq. in 2015 to zero by 2050 across all sectors. Last but not least, new jobs in renewables will overcompensate the lost jobs in fossil fuel sectors, explained Hans-Josef Fell, as a 100% renewable power system will employ 3 to 3.5 million people. The approximate 800,000 jobs in the European coal industry of 2015 would therefore be zeroed out by 2050, and would be overcompensated by more than 1.5 million new jobs in the renewable energy sector. The results of the study showcase that the current goals set forth under the Paris Agreement can and should be accelerated, said Dr. Christian Breyer, professor for solar economy at Finland's LUT University. The transition to 100% clean, renewable energy is very realistic. Right now, with the technology we have available today, the study concludes with policy recommendations to promote a swift uptake of renewable energy and zero-emissions technology adoption. Among the measures promoted in the report is the support of sector coupling, private investments, tax benefits and legal privileges, with a simultaneous phase-out of coal and fossil fuel subsidies. We should sanction energy companies producing greenhouse gases through fossil fuels and nuclear, and we need more research, education and training towards a clean energy transition. Education is very important, not only in schools but also for the politicians, for the managers, for the media, explains Hans-Josef Fell. This report demonstrates that Europe can switch to a zero-emission energy system. Therefore, European leaders can and should do much more for climate protection than what is currently on the table, he adds. By implementing strong political frameworks, the report shows that a transition to 100% renewable energy could even be realized earlier than 2050. Barcelona, Masdar City, Munich, Vancouver, San Francisco, Copenhagen, Sydney, San Diego, downtown Doha. These are some of the cities who have already committed to 100% renewable energy targets. The energy transition is not a question of technology feasibility or economics, it is only a question of political will, assured Hans-Josef Fell. There are no technological barriers, no excuses. By the Beam Editor-in-Chief Anne-Sophie Garrigo. Subscribe to the Beam for more on the topic. Read more from the Beam.